What to do when you're traveling with diabetes? That can become a difficult situation. So let's start by thinking about what are the things that you need to take with you. Now you can get books and your diabetes educators can give you guides. You can go to the internet and print out travel tips for patients with diabetes, what you need to carry with you. Essentially, rule of thumb, carry all your supplies with you. You do not want to have it in your checked baggage. You don't want your medicines to be in Denver and you be in Hawaii. That's not going to be very good. So have your medications with you. Have your testing supplies with you. If you're going to carry your testing supplies and your needles, in the United States, you might need a letter from your physician to say that you have diabetes and you need to carry these things, particularly if you're carrying needles and your syringes. So you might need a letter from your physician. Most physician offices will give you letters. They usually have form letters that they can send out to you, and you take them, and you should not have much of a problem with the TSA. If you're traveling abroad, a couple of things to think about. Try and find out from the airlines and from resources available at those other countries' airports what would be needed for you to take your supplies through security. The other thing to think about is time zone changes. If you're traveling east, it's likely if you're taking insulin that you might have to reduce the dose of insulin that you're taking. Because if you're taking a long-acting insulin, say for example Lantus, that could stay in your body for 24 hours. And if you lose 6 to 8 hours, the two doses could piggyback on each other. So if you take a dose at 8 a.m. in the morning and you take a dose at 8 a.m. in another time zone, then you could have a problem. So one of the recommendations is you could reduce the dose of Lantus. And the way to think about it is for every 6 hours that you're going to travel east, multiply that by a factor of 4. So say you're traveling 6 hours east, but that means you're losing 6 hours in a time zone change. You take 6 and multiply that by 4. That's 24, so reduce your Lantus dose by 24%. The other way to think about it is just go by the clock. So if you take your Lantus dose at 8 in the morning, take a 24-hour time clock and then take your Lantus dose again at that point in time. So those are kinds of tips that you can use, but your diabetes educators and a lot of online resources can give you more guidance to how to manage the travel. If you're traveling west, it's much easier. Traveling east, when you're losing time, is a little bit harder.